What are the first 5 curses pronounced by Israel at Mount Ebal? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Deuteronomy on Walking Through the Bible. His word, the glory of his cross. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Deuteronomy chapter 27. We're going to be reading from verses 11 to 19. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So Deuteronomy 27, beginning of verse 11. And Moses commanded the people on the same day, saying, These shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people when you have crossed over the Jordan, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand on Mount Ebal to curse, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall speak with a loud voice and say to all the men of Israel, Cursed is the one who makes to carve or molded image, an abomination to the Lord, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And all the people shall answer and say, Amen. Cursed is the one who treats his father or his mother with contempt, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is the one who moves his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is the one who makes the blind to wander off the road, and the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is the one who perverts the justice due the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and all the people shall say, Amen. In our last lesson, we had Moses giving Israel instructions for when they crossed over the Jordan River. As a congregation, they were to gather at Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. They were to erect large stones containing a record of the book of the law. They were also to erect an altar by which they could worship the Lord during this service. But being at these 2 mountains also served another purpose. For back in Deuteronomy 11:29, there we read, Now it shall be when the Lord your God has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. What we have recorded for us here in the rest of Deuteronomy 27, the cursings that were to be pronounced. We do not have the blessings given to us, but in all likelihood they would be similar to the ones we find later on in Deuteronomy. According to tradition, it is said that the blessings and cursings were alternately pronounced, and also from Joshua 8:34 we know that for a fact that blessings were pronounced, even though we don't have them recorded specifically. The way the children of Israel were to organize at these 2 mountains were as follows. At Mount Gerizim, where blessings were to be pronounced, were the tribes of Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, meaning Ephraim and Manasseh, and Benjamin. At Mount Ebal, where cursings would be pronounced, would be the tribes of Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. Much thought has been put in to try to determine why God separated the tribes in this way. With the exception of Reuben and Zebulun, all the tribes at Mount Ebal were from Leah's and Rachel's concubines, while all the tribes at Mount Gerizim were from Leah and Rachel themselves. To account for why Reuben and Zebulun were at Mount Ebal, it is surmised that it was because Zebulun was the youngest of Leah's sons, and because Reuben had forfeited his birthright by sleeping with Jacob's concubine. Again, this is speculation and therefore cannot be treated as fact. We simply don't know why God separated the tribes this way, nor do we need to know, for it wouldn't change anything about what was to happen next. When the tribes had gathered together at their respective mountains, which were situated across from each other, then the Levites, which we will see in Joshua meant the priests, would likely stand in a convenient spot between the 2 mountains in order to speak the blessings and cursings, which the children of Israel would agree to by saying Amen. There would be 12 cursings in all, probably picked to equal the number of tribes in Israel. All of these cursings, minus the last ones, are ones that we've studied before, thus they are not new. The first cursing had to do with idolatry. The law against this was found in Leviticus 26 verse 1, which says, You shall make no idols nor graven image, neither rear up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. The second curse had to do with showing contempt for your parents. The law against that is found in Exodus chapter 21 verse 17, which says, And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. The third curse has to do with theft, specifically theft of property. For that, we turn to Deuteronomy 19, verse 14, which says, "Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord your God gives you to possess." The fourth curse has to do with causing a blind man to stumble. The law against that is found in Leviticus 19 in verse 14, where we read, "Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear the Lord thy God. I am the Lord." And then the fifth curse has to do with perversion of justice. We discussed that just a few lessons ago in Deuteronomy 14 and in verse 17, which says, "Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor the fatherless, nor take the widow's raiment to pledge." If you notice, one thing about these curses we've read about so far is that we begin with how Israel was to view God, that they weren't to make idols to worship him with. But then it dealt with how they were to treat their neighbor and those who were less fortunate. If one did these things, a curse of God was brought upon them, something we see consistently in the lives of the people who fall into sin. We'll continue with these cursings, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Deuteronomy 27, verses 20 to 26, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.